everybody, and welcome to the recap edition, NFL recap edition of ProLine. This is the first of the three programs we do each week. We've got a college football ProLine and NFL ProLine as well. Make sure to check them out every week for free plays and some great offers. Fairway Jay is here. Jim Feist is here. I'm Dave Cokin, and I'm going to tell you about what we've got coming up, what we did this past week. Jay, let's start it off with you. You had your Thursday night NFL total of the year, a really easy winner on the Thursday game between the 49ers and Seahawks, and then just followed it up from there.
Thanks, David. It's nice when they play out well. That 49ers-Seahawks game was a solid under the total. Came back with our top play Sunday on the Ravens game over, and then followed it up Monday night with another solid under the total winner in the Bears 13-7 win over the Lions. We're going to have another Thursday high roller total this week. So be sure to contact the office, 1-866-896-1627. You'll get that for free when you come in, as we're going to have a college parlay of the year going, and then another big Sunday NFC game of the month going. So we look to continue. Had a real solid week in the pros. With again, the totals were just terrific this week. 1-866-896-1627. You'll get that Thursday play for free this week.
All right, I had a pretty good weekend, and colleges absolutely killed it on Saturday. Won everything on top of the card. That included those two conference games of the year that were guaranteed winners. Ended up being Michigan State in the Big Ten, Kent State in the MAC. Hit the other top plays as well. It was a huge winning day. Gave a little back on Sunday. You know, it just seems when there's a goofy call, I'm going to be on the wrong side of it. I had the Bucs for my big play on Sunday, so I'm still waiting for them to explain how a rule can be as ridiculous as the one that was enforced at the end of that game. Fix the rule. It makes no sense. Quite frankly, what they did, I don't think the NFL players knew the rule, because what you're going to see now is whenever a quarterback goes out of the pocket, you are now going to see defenders just simply push guys out of bounds. You're out of the play at that point. Bad rule. Got to fix that, guys. But that's not going to do anything. You got to do the Tampa play. Fortunately, I came back and swept on Monday. Clearly the right side of the total. I didn't have the right side of the game, but guess what? The rules say I got to keep the money with the Lions plus the points. Because it won. And I've had enough of those that I've lost, so I'm not going to complain about a little good luck. Anyway, this weekend it's here. I was going to have two conference games of the year again, but because I normally don't play it this early, but there's just a game out there this weekend that fits all the criteria I'm looking for. It's going to be my 32nd annual college football game of the year. 24-7 lifetime on this game. It's been a monster winner over the years. The game is set. This isn't one of those things where, well, I'm just picking out a week and we'll see what happens. I just decided this is the right game. And for those of you who have played this game over the years, you might be able to figure out who it is, because I'm going to give you a hint. I've used this team like 4 times in the past as my college game of the year, and it's won every time. It will again this week. Love the spot. The game will be available online for $99 on Saturday. Don't wait, because the number will move by before then, okay? The game's going to be released earlier than that to my clients. You can be on that list to get the game early, and it'll cost you only $25. Call the office now, 1-866-896-1634. $25 for my college game of the year. We'll get you some free bonus plays to build your bankroll as well. Make the call and make the money with my college game of the year. 1-866-896-1634. Jim, this NFL run of yours has been magnificent. Absolutely tremendous. Week after week after week. You're putting together some, major profits in the NFL.
It's been really sweet, Dave. Thank you. When we talk about these games that I'm winning sides and totals. So a lot of, that's why I have as many plays as I do. But I do very well in both. I have to admit, last night I thought I would have an easy winner with the Bears. But once Cutler got hurt, they went into kind of a prevent offensive mode because he couldn't throw the ball. His ribs were damaged, and going forward, that might slow him down in the next game. But they're playing Jacksonville, and they don't. I think they're playing Jacksonville. Or no, they're playing Carolina with Grumpy. grumpy, what's his name? Sham Newton. Somebody else called him Sham Newton. I kind of like it. I didn't do it. I'm just repeating, so don't kill the messenger here. But Dave, I have been doing well. 8-3 this past weekend, 24-10 running the NFL. Lost a big play with the Rams, won with my platinum on the Redskins, had my NFL total of the month with the Ravens Texans over. You can play through Monday night. That's pro and college football and the World Series. Yes, we do have some baseball left for $29. That will include my Thursday night NFL Game of the Year and a conference Game of the Year on Saturday, plus my NFL Inner Circle Game of the Year on Sunday, all for $29. The number to call is 1-866-841-1655 and ask about my early bird NBA special for $49 to play through Christmas. That's right. We got it all going on now. We got baseball, basketball, football. Pretty soon we're going to have college basketball. I'm on a roll. I intend to keep that roll going in the NFL, and we got big college games coming up as well. Get on board. Make the call. It's not that much money, but I tell you this, if you don't call, you're losing because you're not collecting on Tuesday like you should be. Make the call, 1-866-841-1655. Dave, we've got a lot of games to talk about from this past weekend, some interesting stuff. What do you want to lead off with?
I think the thing I'd like to lead off with, since you mentioned it, is the man with the new name in Carolina.
I got to tell you where I heard that.
Wow.
I was listening to ESPN, and it was Colin Cowherd that said Sham Newton. He calls him Sham Newton.
Wow, they're a mess. They fired the GM. That franchise has not been the same since Jerry Richardson went from being kind of a silent owner to a much more active one. And also, I wonder sometimes about, even in this last dispute and in the lockout last year and now in this last dispute with the officials, he was extremely hawkish. He did not want to settle this dispute with the referees. You wonder if some of this filters down through the team, and that they just don't like playing for the guy because they're a mess. Everything about them is bad right now. You could argue they're the worst team in the league right now.
They lost a good coach too, Dave. John Fox's time might have been up when they started to lose a little bit, but he can coach, and he's with the Broncos now. And I get back to the fundamentals. I don't think that team's going to win with Cam Newton being their leading rusher. He certainly has the ability to give them that zone read and run the ball, but they've got to show a little better balance and utilize the running game. Their defense was actually pretty good on Sunday against Dallas. They had the week of prep, and you should be able to come out and play better on your home field. But I don't know. That statistically, that game there wasn't much to it. They held Dallas pretty well. But the Panthers only ran the ball 21 times, and even with Newton and the ability to scramble and utilize that zone read, I think they've got to do better than that. And under Fox, you recall, he's a run-first coach, and they've gotten away from that, I think, a little bit.
Well, they're not adjusting, and that's the problem. If you look at the Sunday night game, that's where you saw an expert coach who adjusted within the game. They changed the game plan while the game was going on. Talking about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jim. In the second half, they absolutely dominated Cincinnati Bengals. Despite all their injuries, the Steelers dominated them. That's, to me, when people talk about, coaches don't make that much of a difference. Yes, they do. They made all the difference in the world in that Sunday night game.
Well, let's look back at. I agree with you. Look back at the mentality and the karma of those two cities. Pittsburgh's been a championship city in football for many years. Cincinnati has struggled in so many ways on the football field. They have a terrible time beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. You just go back. It's just, I don't know what the record is, but it's like 1-10 or something. Even on their home field, it's like a home field disadvantage. Maybe it's the coaching staff. But you have to, if it goes back that far historically, there's something missing. There's an intangible there that I can't quite put my finger on. Roethlisberger's a quarterback that doesn't get a lot of respect when you talk about the best quarterbacks in the league. But this guy is murder. You can't bring him down. He completes passes. He makes the toughest throws. He can scramble. He can run. He's brutal. He's like hitting a linebacker. The guy's huge. And nobody talks about the best quarterbacks. They never mention his name. But you got to mention his name. He's one of the best. And as long as you have him back there and have some kind of offensive line, you're going to open some holes. You're going to get some yardage. They got a defense that's, even though they're hurt, they still play decent football. They're not the best team in football, no question, but they are a very capable football team. And Cincinnati just seems to find ways to blow it. It's simple. They just blow it. And they've now lost 3 games in a row, and they're on a skid. They're in a little bit of trouble. They got to find a way to pull out of that tailspin.
The thing is, on Sunday, the game's all them. It's 14-6. They're in command going to the half, and it's just this weird play where the ball. I don't know whether Andy Dalton tried to stop throwing the ball too late or whether it just didn't have a good. Who knows? He throws it into the back of his own lineman. It bounces off. Naturally goes right to a Steeler. And then they punch it in, and then make a 2-point conversion on top of that. Instead of 14-6, 14-14. And I got to tell you, if you had a Pittsburgh ticket at that point, it was like, okay, you may as well go stand in line because you're going to be a winner at the end of the game. And if you have a Bengals ticket, the game was over at that point. It's not supposed to be. It's 14-14. That football game was over at the half. I knew the Bengals weren't going to recover. Because that's what we're used to seeing out of these teams. Pittsburgh knows how to take advantage of a situation. The Bengals never do.
And if you're a halftime bettor, Dave, and your insight and recognition of that, you get to the window and lay it. The Bengals, you're right, 14-6. They've got the ball inside of 2 minutes. They're in good shape, and those kind of key mistakes and turnovers are costly. We're on the outside looking in oftentimes, and we make our opinions on these coaches and things. But Marvin Lewis has had plenty of time, I think, in Cincinnati. And to me, to get outplayed on your home field again, whether you've been dominated by this team over the years or not, Pittsburgh's not that strong this season, but the thing that I was at least impressed with this week is they'd only been averaging 3 yards a carry for the season. They were second. They're one of the bottom 3 teams in rushing the football this year, and yet they really put it on them this week. 167 yards rushing. They ran it 29 times. So they took control of the line of scrimmage and beat the Bengals physically. This was a dominant statistical game, 431 yards to 185 for Cincinnati. And I think on your home field, in a key game, division game, there's just no reason for the Bengals to not perform at a higher level to me. And like you said, they were coaching at halftime. The adjustments were all Pittsburgh. And give the Steelers credit. Now let's remember, this team had not won on the road yet, the Steelers. So they had struggled and lost to some bad teams on the road. So good adjustments in play, but the Bengals, I think we are seeing that there are still questions there. Despite, remember, they've had some good drafts here with the quarterback and the receiver of Green, and then they got a tremendous boon when they traded Palmer and picked up some top picks. So they should be in good standing moving forward, but they're not getting it done right now.
What do we make of the Baltimore Ravens at this point?
Oh, yeah, good. I'm glad you brought that up. The Ravens. I'd like to talk about the Ravens. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I asked you, what do you make of them right now?
Okay, well, the last time I looked, and I've been watching Ray Lewis play many, many years, and I never saw him play offense. He was a team leader.
He's returned some touchdowns.
Yeah, that's true. What I saw there, I don't know if you can take one incident and then make a broad statement like this. But I'm going to make the statement with the caveat, I could be totally full of shit. But the Ravens showed me a lack of character in that game. You're talking about the Houston Texans, who just gave up a boatload of points to the Packers the week before. Okay? They come in there with an intact offense. They got Rice at running back. They got Flacco, who wants to be one of the premier quarterbacks in football. But what they don't have that stuff inside your gut to go out there and say, I'm going to beat the crap out of you on the offensive side of the ball, and if you're going to score, I'm going to score more. They didn't go in there with that type of championship attitude that I was thinking they would do, because I felt that they were a tough team from a tough city, and they knew they lost their leader, and they're going to step up. And what they did is they stepped out the door. And I did, even after the game, the comments, and there was no passion. There was nothing. It was nothing. It was a zero character effort on their part. I was disgusted with the way they played.
They weren't good, that's for sure. Neither were the New England Patriots. They got lucky in this game. Why? Well, I don't know why is probably not a good question, because I don't think they know why. So how the hell should we know why they can't stop teams in the fourth quarter? But I will tell you this, Jay, I don't think they're an elite team. And I'm not a knee-jerk reaction type of guy. This is a carryover from last year. Their defense just isn't very good. And the offense is good, but not great. So, I think the Patriots are still a good football team. But I think at least right now they're not that elite type A, top of the NFL type of team. They're probably bottom of the top 10, I would make them.
Dave, I think similar to last season, I think they're probably pretty fortunate they're in the AFC, because last season they were strong and the AFC was down. This year I think it's the same, which does place them still in the probably the upper tier, and they're in a division that can be had, but we're seeing some flaws, and when you have two young players in the secondary, we've seen them exposed a little bit. I liked that they were balancing the offense a little bit more. They're running it more efficiently. This to me is a good example of when we talk about the Bengals and them not showing up. Here we had a Jets team who had really not shown much, and offensively we're questioning Sanchez. But the reality is this was a division game, and the Jets came to play, and a big underdog, and yet they came and put in a strong effort, put up 400 yards of offense on the road at New England. There's maybe a difference in the coaching mentality, maybe the preparation, because what looked like at the start of the game is a team that would win by margin and had all the weapons returned home, and the Jets ended up giving them quite a game. So I still think that's the nature of the NFL. I think the Patriots are still a very solid team in that division. They get through it, then you're talking about probably a home game in the playoffs and a position to at least be a contender. I thought last year Baltimore and Houston were better. They got through it because they had a home field advantage. This year, a little tougher, I think, if they have to go on the road. But there's not a dominant team. We're not seeing a dominant team or even a couple teams step up in the AFC. So the Patriots are still in position, I think, to be there at the end. And as well, Dave, let's look at the schedules. I think their schedule's pretty favorable down the second half as well.
Before we head to the Thursday night contest and a few words on that, anything else you guys want to?
Well, yeah. There was a change of ownership in Cleveland, and
yes,
there's going to be a shake-up there. Cleveland has been in. I know they got a dog pound there. In one of the end zones, it's called the dog pound. They all wear the dog hats and they bark and everything, and it's kind of fun. But they've been in the dog house for a long time. I mean, they haven't had very good seasons for a long, long time. And now they're going to face the rest of the year. I think they're like 1-17, some kind of crazy number. They won a game the other day against Cincinnati, which is another shot at the Cincinnati Bengals. But now the San Diego Chargers, who blew the 24-0 lead on national TV against Denver and gave up 35 points, is now on the road, 3-point favorite at Cleveland. Cleveland, this is a team, I don't understand why this team can't run the football. They should be able to run the football. They got the backs. I mean, they have a pretty experienced offensive line. They just don't seem. I mean, I think Whedon is going to be a good quarterback. He shows they have some talent, but they just don't perform. And it's not just week after week. It's season after season. How can one team just continually play so poorly every year? And I know that Haslam's going to come in there and shake it all up and make a difference. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be better going down the road. Another thing I'd like to mention is Kansas City. I was one of those people that thought Kansas City was going to have a pretty good year. They got a lot of guys back from being hurt the previous year. And, of course, now they're making a change of quarterback. They're going from Mutt to, Manny, Mo, and Jack. They're going to pick one of those three and put one in there.
Oh, no.
Either one of them are any damn good.
They're going for the number 1 overall draft choice.
Already?
There's no – if they're going to start Brady Quinn at quarterback, and I'm serious about this. I'm not joking. They are going for the number 1 overall pick.
He's bad.
They're going to lose every game if they can. And factor that into your betting because the power ratings of this team are not accurate right now. They're worse than their power ranking, which is not easy to be. But do not bet. If you bet on Kansas City at this point, that's one underdog you might not want to consider. Listen, I know you guys are both really big on Thursday night, so we're not going to say much about this football game except that Josh Freeman is back to being one of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Vikings got a tremendous football team. You know what? Their running game, their defense, all they got to do is not screw things up at the quarterback spot, and I think Ponder's going to be all right as far as that goes. It's a dangerous football team. Take advantage of the offers and get this game because both Jim and Jay I'll have a plan, but both Jim and Jay are really big in this game. Let's recap the offers again. Jim, you just had a great weekend again in the NFL, and this is your Thursday night game of the year that's coming up.
It is. Like you said, I have a huge play on. I know Jay does as well. This is big. It's going to win easy. Last night I had a play on the Bears and the under. The under won very easily. The Bears, they either tied or lost. This play coming up on next Thursday is as easy or easier than what we had on the under play the other day. That's how easy you're gonna know you collected the money very early. Huge package, $29. You can play through Monday night. Pro and college football, World Series, $29. That will include the Thursday night NFL Game of the Year, the conference Game of the Year that goes on Saturday. My NFL Inner Circle Game of the Year goes on Sunday. All $29. 1-866-841-1655. And early bird NBA, guys. The NBA is back. We don't have any lockouts. We don't have any shortened stuff. We don't have 5 games in 6 nights and all that crap. We got a real season coming, and it's $49 through Christmas. So make sure you make the phone call, 1-866-841-1655. Jay,
You've got your NFC game of the month coming up, and I know for early bird sign-ups, for people who don't wait until Sunday to sign up, they're going to be able to get this high roller play that you've got on Thursday night free.
And Dave, I want to comment because I know Jim had the Bears the other night, or on Monday night, but I can tell you that Jim did not lose on that play. He might have won. I know he at least pushed, and there's a reason to call early. Monday night, I had the Bears out early, and as we know, I saw some weather coming into Chicago, some rain and some opportunities, and we saw game day once again. The public's betting that late, and they're getting the worst of the number. Same with the in the total, and same with the Bears because that line went up to 6.5 at game time. A lot of people lost, and there's a reason you call early and you can take advantage of these plays and get the best of the number. 1-866-896-1627 for mine. We're also running a special this week. You'll get 3 plays for just $6. It'll include college and pro parlays this weekend. And again, we'll include the Thursday night play for free. Last week, of course, we came in big with the under in the San Francisco winner. We'll look to do it again this week. Take advantage of the best opportunities. Get the best of the numbers. Call early, call often. 1-866-896-1627.
All right, in mine, I'll keep it nice and simple because all you need to say is college game of the year. It's one of the big events in this business.